Your Honor.
Yes.
This is what you signed when I'm starting with you. Fooled you, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
Okay.
You saw me set up and all that. All right.
Good. Okay, well, as you all know by now, I'm reading from our book, The Snake Doctor.
Oh, The Snake Doctor.
Which can be purchased at
Amazon, Barnes & Noble,
Barnes & Noble,
Author House.
Author House.
Just go to your
local bookstore, right?
Local bookstore and
give me that book!
By Odie Hawkins.
By Odie Hawkins.
Yes, indeed. All right. So, what chapter are you on?
Okay, here we go. I'm going to read 2 chapters. They're both brief.
Oh, okay.
And this is chapter 21. But before I go to 21, let me say a couple of things about the previous chapters. What I'm doing here in this particular section, and these chapters, 20, 19, 20, 21, I'm trying to capture the excitement and the very deep feelings that often accompany that affect the African American psyche. I'm thinking about people within the Africa, wherever, from Morocco down to South Africa, or to the middle, to the Congo, or to East Africa, or wherever. We frequently have some really spiritually revealing things happen to us. Whether you talk about the sister who says, I followed a woman down the street who looked just like my so-and-so, so-and-so. In my case, I wound up dealing with a whole bunch of people who reminded me of relatives on the west side and the south side and so forth. So I'm starting about one paragraph at the end of chapter 20, where little Kofi, Kofi, the
little
son of
Kofi.
Kojo.
Yes.
He goes to, he's in Accra.
Yes.
And there are clubs and things that you go to, like any place else. And he comes to this conclusion. Roxy was right. The place, he's living in a hotel called the Greenleaf Hotel, and he's made friends with the maid and the guy who cleans up. Those are the people to make friends with because they can tell you what stuff is. Roxy was right. The place was lively, but he thought in a conservative way. He couldn't detect any of the aggressive flirtation that he would normally find in one of the Crenshaw night spots, West LA, the Main Street set in Santa Monica. Men outnumbered the women 3 to 1, but the men were cool. They drank their beers, made eye-to-eye contact with the women on the scene, but there was no hint of frenzy. So far as he could tell, it was definitely a Ghanaian scene. He looked around. I must be the only obruni in the house. We'll get to what obruni means right here in chapter 21.
Okay.
Kofi, you're going to hear the word used to describe you sooner or later. Don't trip. It means literally a European. But it carries another kind of baggage, a person from the outside, someone who doesn't know the scene. I equated obruni to squab when I found out what it meant. I don't agree with your father on this one. I resented being called obruni. If that's supposed to identify Europeans, all well and good. But I don't think it should be applied to Africans in the diaspora. I think the Ghanaians, Africans in general, should find another name for us. You and me, we went through all of what we went through, all of what we're going through, and they still want to think of us as Europeans? I can't get with that. The woman holding her hand out to him didn't speak. She was inviting him to dance with her. He didn't hesitate. She was one of the electric slide dancers he admired so much. The music had morphed from loud, snap, crackle, semi-rap to a style he couldn't identify. I like this music. What is it? It is high life. It only took him a couple of beats to make a surreptitious study of the dance movements to get it down. What's your name? Salena Sarpong. I'm Kofi Brown. You have danced the high life before? He got you all over this book. You have danced the high life before? Sort of. I like dances to give you a chance to hold the girl. She snuggled a little closer to him and smiled. He glanced over her shoulder to look at her girlfriends making animated conversation and looking at them. Looks like your girlfriends are talking about us. Oh, they're just jealous. Jealous of what? That I'm dancing with you. Kofi held her at arm's length to check out the expression on her face. This gorgeous chocolate-colored woman with this beautiful head wrap on is telling me that her girlfriends are jealous of her dancing with me? Salena, I'm not quite sure I understand. One of them, all of them wanted to dance with you, but they were too shy. But why me? You've got lots of guys up in here. Because you're an African American, and African Americans dance well. Kofi puffed his chest out a bit and added a little bit more zip to his hips. Wow. And besides, if you ask the Ghana boy to dance, he would think of you as a loose woman.
Oh my.
Kofi did a mental cultural review of his social life at home. Would a woman ask me to dance? More likely a white girl than a sister, but it was not an unknown thing. Would a brother at home think the sister was loose because she asked him to dance? Maybe. But then there were some brothers who thought that any woman in any club that was not with a man was a loose woman. The music came to an abrupt end, followed by a stream of inane disc jockey commentary. All right, everybody, let's put our dancing shoes on for this next one. This is the one you've all been waiting for. Salena, do you think we could go someplace a little quieter? I'd like to talk with you about Ghana, the Ghana I don't know anything about. It wasn't necessary for him to pretend to be sincere. He was. She did a close-up reading. We could walk out back. They have a large garden area there. I was thinking of another place, some place with soft music. Have you had dinner? She shook her head and laughed. What's funny? Did I say something funny? Oh, no, not really. I was just thinking of how different we are. In Ghana here, a strange man would never suggest that you take me out and pay for my chop, unless an agreement had been reached. Where do you propose to go? I thought maybe you would know someplace. I just got here yesterday. I know a place you might like. I'm coming. Mimba. That's what Mom and Dad were always saying to each other when one or the other was waiting for the other. He watched Salena weave her way through the once again dancing hood bodies, retrieve her purse and have a few words with her girlfriends. He tried to keep his smile from becoming a smirk. Hey, if y'all were jealous about her dancing with me, what's going through you now? He couldn't resist a quick military-type salute to the girlfriends. They cut their eyes in his direction. Okay, I'm ready, we can go. I told them not to worry about me, that you would bring me home. She flashed him a warm, trusting smile. Not a problem, not a problem. He took a deep breath and stared at the stars sparkling in the dark blue sky. Beautiful night. Ghana, a beautiful woman at my side. Are you mobile? No, we'll have to take a taxi. Taxis were lined up at the curb, the drivers waiting anxiously for customers. Salena approached one and began to palaver. After a couple of minutes of gestures and frowns, she announced, "This man is offering us a fair price to LaBone." Well, let's go. Kofi took note of the non-familiar landmarks being driven west on King Road. So, Mr. Brown, please call me Kofi, Salena. So, Kofi, you have been in Ghana 2 days now? Got in Monday morning. Why, I'm sorry, Monday evening. You are having a good time here? No, I am. They sat next to each other, feeling each other's warmth, the vibes. Ghana. It's almost a tradition in my family for us to come here. We started doing it years ago. It's not exactly a roots thing, although my dad had some DNA research done that proved his people are Ga and Ashanti. My mother found her tribal DNA in Benin. Very interesting. I am Ashanti. You stared at her profile. No, Salena, you're a queen.
Aye.
An Ashanti, but definitely a queen.
3rd
Marla Lane, LaBone, Susan's place. This is it. You wanted soft music, you will find it here. Hip set. That was the first thought that popped into his head. They were welcomed into a huge loft design room by the proprietor, designer, artist, entrepreneur, a small framed, beige colored, very attractive woman that everyone simply called Susan. Ah, Salena, my goodness, where have you been? I haven't seen you in ages. And who is this very polite, very handsome African-American gentleman? No one had to tell Kofi that he was in the presence of a dynamic, well-connected member of Ghanaian society, and he could tell good taste when he saw it. Please, Mr. Kofi Brown, Miss Susan, she's our host. Miss Susan stood back to take a harder look at Kofi. Your parents are Kojo and Akuzwa. Yes, do you know them? I met them when they came to Ghana here. When was that? Oh, please excuse me, my mate is calling me. He has a problem. Please, make yourself at home. Wow, this is unreal. I'm in the home of someone who knows my parents. He loved the homemade yet sophisticated atmosphere of Susan's place. Subdued lighting, tables for two placed diplomatically, strategically around the large space, a bar at the opposite end of the room, gorgeous music spilling in from discreetly placed speakers, Susan's place. Susan moving quietly and efficiently from table to table, charming, witty, caring. You have everything you want, Eddie? Yes, Susan, thank you. Jacob, please take another cold beer to table 6. Yes, Mr. Brown, as I was saying, I met Kojo and Akuzwa some time ago, as I recall. They were separate packages, as a man speaking. Kojo was here first, and then sometime later, Akuzwa came. Oh, excuse me, my God, it's drafty in here. Jacob, turn the fan down a bit, please. Where was I? Oh, shit. She explained that he wanted her to experience her own Ghana without his interference. I thought that was quite an interesting way to go about it. How are they? Oh, please excuse me. I have to see these people off. Please make yourself comfortable. Your waiter will be with you in a moment. Zachariah, see those people, please. Yes, sir, madame. Yes, sir, madame. The waiter, a very lean, dark-skinned man with a humorous twinkle in his eyes, stood at attention next to the table. May we see a menu, please? Kofi asked. The waiter looked puzzled. A menu? Salena solved the problem. One doesn't need a menu here. Order what you like, and if they don't have it, you'll order something they do have. I was thinking about food. Salena took up the calls. We'll have 2 lager beers and a little something. Yes, madame. Salena smiled in his direction. As I understand it, Susan wants to create something unique, a sort of home away from home with a romantic foundation. I think she's succeeded, don't you think? Kofi glanced around at the people at the other tables. The place was 3/4 full at 11 p.m., but there were no loud conversations, nothing to indicate that they were in a commercial establishment, not even menus. Their waiter returned with 2 frosted bottles of ABC lager and 3 bowls, 2 for washing their hands and 1 filled with finger-sized bits of grilled beef, veal, and chicken. A little something. This is delicious. If it wasn't, Susan wouldn't serve it. What's the story? She's a very interesting woman. Salena nibbled on a nugget of chicken, took a sip of beer. Well, her dad, one of the richest men in Ghana, he's an Ewe man. Her mother's English, but Susan is 100% Ghanaian. Her dad offered her some property to do something with, and she did. She created the first Montessori school in Ghana. Really? Yes, the school buildings are just there behind this structure. As I understand it, she uses the revenue from this business to fund her school. What with the high fees she charges the elite and these funds, I suspect she's quite in the red. Incidentally, all of her servants, the waiters and the waitresses, have their children in the school on scholarship. She is quite a remarkable lady. You can say that again. Susan drifted back over to their table after shaking hands, smiling, and hugging a couple couples out into the night. Susan, may I ask you a question? Shoot, she answered, with a bit of Americanese and a big smile. a few minutes ago, when our waiter answered you, he said, "Yes, sir, madame." That's a real puzzle for my little United States raised brain. Is that a special title or something? Salena and Susan gave each other high fives and burst out laughing. Kofi looked from one to the other, waiting for his answer. Kofi, I've been answered that question before. Let me explain. Zacharias, your waiter, is a devout Christian from Burkina Faso. Quite chauvinistic and an excellent chap, actually. He had one tremendous difficulty dealing with me when he first came to work here. He just didn't want to accept the idea that he was working for a woman. And since I'm a modern Ghanaian woman who wears slacks occasionally, he discovered a way to save face by calling me Sir Madam.
Fair.
Kofi joined the joke. Wow, that's really saving face the hard way. Now then, having explained who I really am, an honorary man, so designated by my head waiter, I'm going to call an early evening of it. I have a bunch of admissions applications to study and an early day tomorrow. I've told Kofi about your school. It's my reason for being. Mind if we take a peek at the classroom? Salena there, you're at home, you know everything is situated. Mr. Brown, I hope to see more during your time in Ghana here. Oh, most definitely. And she was off, smiling, exchanging bits of wit with the people at nearby tables, pausing to discuss something serious with a couple of Kofi Annan lookalikes. That lady's smooth, real smooth. Thank you for telling me a little about her, introducing me to her. Now tell me a little bit about yourself, about this Ghana that I don't know anything about. Did you say you wanted to see the classrooms? By all means, lead the way. They strolled through the room, nodding pleasantly at people who seemed to be friends. Zacharias was there to hold the screen door open for them. Medasi, you're welcome, madame. The night air and the chalk-white moon fell on him like an exotic blanket. Kofi stared at the sky and mumbled, "I'm in Africa, the motherland." You say? I just mumbled to myself. Seems that every time I step outside, no matter if it's day or night, I'm suddenly aware that I'm in Africa. I felt the same way during my whole 4 years I spent in Chicago. Chicago? That's where my family came from Chicago to California. What were you doing in Chicago? They strolled on a well-defined path paved with large white flagstones, buildings that were designed like African village huts thatched on either side of the path, fringed by low-spreading palm trees. I got a scholarship through the Rotarians of America, believe it or not, to go to the University of Chicago. Great school, I've heard a lot about it. Great, and very expensive. My scholarship didn't cover very much, so I had to work very hard, but as you can see, I made it. You got your degree. Master's, Sociology. I'm teaching at the University of Ghana in LaBone. Funny. I'd never have guessed that you were a teacher. Well, what then? Tell me. Kofi was tempted to tell the truth. I had no idea what you were about, and I didn't really give a care. I just saw you as a gorgeous African woman. Come on, Kofi, tell me the truth. You didn't even think of me in a profession. You just looked at my face, my breasts, and my hips. Eh? He was stunned by the way she laid it out for him. Hey, you don't fool around, do you? They sat on one of the small white benches bordering the path. Life is too short for games. Is that something you learned in the States? No, I don't think so. It was already a part of my thinking before I left Ghana here. I'm sure you've been here long enough. If it's only been a couple of days, to see that life isn't for daydreamers. People who can afford to live on illusions. They were silent for a few moments, listening to the night noises of Accra and the music filtering out to them from Susan's place. What's going on? The classic by Marvin Gaye was playing. Kofi held his hand out for Salena to dance with him. She floated into his arms. I have to wet my throat because it's so dry.
Yeah.
We're on chapter 22.
Cool.
Kofi woke up with a smile on his face. The singing maid was at work. He sprawled out of his bed, stretching, yawning, and feeling indulgent. He laced his hand behind his head and stared up at the slow whirling fan in the ceiling, mentally reviewing his evening with Salena. After Susan's place, a taxi to Selena's apartment in another section of LaBone. I would invite you in, but I must confess frankly, the place is a mess. And my neighbors would be scandalized to see me receiving a male guest this late. Well, what they don't know won't hurt them, will it? Kofi, you don't know Ghana. By now, everyone in this neighborhood knows that we have just left Susan's place, that we've had several beers, that we've enjoyed each other's company. So we're adults, what's the big deal? In some places, it wouldn't be a big deal, but in Ghana here, it is a big deal. When my parents gave me permission to have my own apartment, I promised them that I would never create a scandal. Would you like to kiss me goodnight?
Yes.
Kofi squirmed around in bed, remembering the kiss and the aftermath. So you're going to Chito on Thursday on a research project, then what? Well, I don't know. A lot of what I want to do after Chito depends on what happens here, and what happens there, what comes out of that. He hadn't felt comfortable with the idea of revealing the Asiafo Kojo story to her yet. So how long will you stay in Chito? I'll just run up and back, maybe get there in the morning, come back in the evening. She laughed at his timetable. Kofi, you don't know Ghana. This is the rainy season. Roads that were somewhat reliable may not be reliable at all. So I would say if you're going on Thursday and all goes well, then you should be back in Accra on Sunday. Sunday? I didn't have any plans to hang out in this place. That doesn't mean a lot to Mother Nature. Remember, you're in West Africa. Rain has real meaning here. So when will I see you again? Here's my card, call me. If the phone doesn't function properly, hire a small boy to deliver your message. And if I'm out and about, I will come to your place. Oh, one more thing. If you want me to be your girlfriend while you are here, or do you want to have many girlfriends? You can have it either way. You are a man in Ghana here. Kofi squirmed around in bed, folded his arms across his chest, locking all the ambivalent thoughts he had about Salena into place. Yes, of course, I would like for you to be my girlfriend. Okay, but no sex. I'm 24 years old, almost an old maid, but I'm saving myself from my husband. Once again, Kofi squirmed around in his bed. If we kiss like that more than once, then we are definitely going to have a problem with your virginity. Wow. A 24-year-old virgin?
Oh my.
Well, let's see what the flow has in store for us. Thursday morning, 9:38 a.m. He rechecked his backpack for essentials and non-essentials. The mosquito net essential. The last thing I need is a case of malaria. 10:30 a.m. He was thinking about going down to the front desk to have someone grab a taxi when Kwame, the taxi driver, tapped on his door. Sorry, sir, I had to collect my wife's mother to take her to Makola Market for goods. Your wife's mother? Yes, sir, she's a trader and collects her goods at the market on Thursday. What time? She goes to the market 5 in the morning. This is a busy man. He's already put in a half day's work. Well, shall we get on? Yes, sir. It only seemed that they had taken a few left and right turns before they were out of the city. Kojo, Kofi, I'm going to keep saying it until I get it right.
Yes, it's Kofi.
Kofi settled back in the passenger seat, feeling a little bit ill at ease without a safety belt across his chest. Oh, well. Brother Kwame. He noticed a huge smile creased by the driver's face. He likes that, Brother Kwame. Yes, sir. I didn't have a chance to check the map. Is Chito very far? Chito is not far and not near. We should be there in 3, maybe 4 hours.
Aye.
Nothing to do but take in the scenery. Beautiful, picturesque countryside, reddish clay roads like they have in Georgia. Neat rows of pineapples, plantains, cassava, mud-wattled village huts a few hundred yards to the left and right of the road. People doing what their ancestors did centuries ago. What my ancestors were doing centuries ago. The countryside whizzing by. The gentle motions of the people carrying enormous loads on their heads. Brother Kwame, look at that. The driver glanced at the 2 small, wiry, muscled men strolling alongside of the road with a 6-foot log on their heads. Men carrying a log on their heads. What's exciting about that? Oh, I see, sir. Kofi saw the humor of the moment. Okay, I get it. You've been seeing people carry logs in their heads all your life. But it's the first for me. The heat of midday made him feel very thirsty. Brother Kwame, you think we could stop for a drink? I'm very thirsty. Yes, sir, just ahead. There's a village to the left. They made an exit from the 2-lane highway into what looked like the 17th century. A small village, maybe 10 huts clustered around a village circle, a general store. What would you like to drink, sir? Water would be fine, but a cold beer would be better. His father's words rang a bell in his head. Kofi, I know you're a sober young man, thank God. Akuzo, I worried about that a lot when you were growing up. We were praying that you wouldn't fall into that alcohol pop bag that a lot of your friends fell into. But when you go to Ghana, drink beer rather than water. The beer has been pasteurized. The water can be a problem. A beer, sir? I'm sure they would have. Kofi strolled a few yards from the taxi to the general store, suddenly surrounded by a dozen little curious children, their eyes glowing from the excitement of seeing a stranger. One of the 5 years old, bolder than her peers, reached up and grabbed his hand. Kofi was tempted to pick her up and cuddle her in his arms, but decided not to for fear that he might be violating a cultural norm. It's okay for her to cozy up to me, but they might not like the idea of me treating her like a little teddy bear or something. Brother Kwame shooed the children away. Go away, leave this man alone, go away. Kofi waved goodbye to the children as he entered the store. He had to conceal his surprise at the sight of a middle-aged white man standing behind a long wooden counter. He was a bit swarthy, but a white man nevertheless. The man walked around the counter to shake his hand. Akwaba, welcome. I heard the commotion outside. What can I do for you? You're an African-American, are you not? We seldom have visitors here, as you can well imagine, being such a small place. The man spoke in short, clipped phrases, his words literally rolling off of his tongue. He was obviously glad to see a new face. In answer to your first question, I would like a cold beer. Do you have a cold one? Yes, my wife is in bed. She will bring it. He called out, Nana, bring the cold ABC. It's in the top of the fridge. In answer to your second question, yes, I am an African American. Yourself, where are you from? His wife, an African woman, bought 2 beers on a wooden tray with frosted glasses. Kofi took note of the affectionate smiles that the couple exchanged. Ah, my wonderful wife, this is Nana, my wonderful wife. She has brought me a beer also. May I join you? Yes, of course. But first, let me check on my driver to see if he wants anything. Kofi found Brother Kwame carefully posed up against the edge of the porch, his back to the wall, sound asleep. Well, I guess he's getting what he needs most. He went back inside the store to find the owner had pulled a small wooden table into the center of the store and placed 2 3-legged stools for them to sit on. Please, 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 be seated, Mr. Kofi Brown. Ah, yes, a good Ghana name. I'm Sardun Albayati. Kofi sat and chugged a full glass of beer down. It tasted unbelievably good. Dad was right. Water couldn't touch beer in Ghana here. Ah, that's really a thirst quencher. Mr. Albayati beamed at him, pleased to be his host. There are others almost as cold as this one. Now then, you ask where I am from? I am from Iraq. Kofi took another sip of his beer, perked up a bit by the word Iraq. Most people think I am Lebanese because there are many Lebanese in West Africa, traders and store owners like myself. From Iraq to this small village, that's a big jump. Mr. Albayati stared at the sunshine streaming into the store through the screen door. He looked sad. Well, I went to England before here. I had lost my wife, 3 children, other relatives in the war. The Americans killed them. Those Blackwater security people. Yeah. The beer suddenly tasted a little bitter. The scenes of the Iraq quagmire flashed through his mind. I did not like England. It was so cold all of the time. So one dark, windy day, I decided to come to Accra, to Ghana here. I had no desire to go anywhere in the Middle East with all of the violence and the division between the people, the Shia against the Sunni, the Wahhabi against everything. They shared a smile. You know the Wahhabi, Mr. Brown? They're the fundamentalists in Saudi Arabia, aren't they? The guys with the fashion police, the ones who don't like the idea of women driving cars, like the Taliban in Afghanistan. Yes, exactly that. Not at all like we have in Ghana here. I found all of the freedom I could not have in my own country. If I don't want to go to the mosque, no one will give me a problem. If I don't want to pray 5 times a day, no one will call me bad names. But best of all, there are no bombs, no one killing themselves or anybody else. I love it here. After the second beer, Kofi had to pull himself away from Mr. Albayati's grip on his arm. Mr. Albayati, I must go. I must go. I have an appointment to keep. Ah, but Mr. Brown, you have not eaten. My wife is a wonderful cook. She's preparing groundnut stew with chicken. We can have another cold beer. Next time, Mr. Albayati, next time. I'll be coming this way again in a few days. You must come. We will talk more about the world, okay? By all means. Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum salam. Kofi thought he saw the beginning of tears in the man's eyes when they exchanged the Muslim greeting, wish for peace be unto you. He quickly placed the CDs on the low table for his beers and walked quickly to Brother Kwame waiting in his taxi. Brother Kwame, would you like a cold beer before we get back on the road? No, sir. I never take alcohol while I'm driving. Kofi settled back in the passenger seat. Good man, I don't drink and drive. He nodded off, lulled into sleep by the beer and the steady drone of the car's engine. You know, it's a funny thing. I had 3 or 4 drivers in Ghana during the time I was there, my 3-year period. And not one of them would drink anything while we were driving.
How responsible.
We would
That's
stop.
nice.
We would stop. Of course, I'm the passenger, and you know, I'm thinking I come from a place where people drink and drive all the time. At least they used to. And starting with Brother Kwame, but you know, all the way to when we had Kofi.
Right.
You could stop at the cafe and he might say, "I'll take a mineral,
Right. Yeah.
soft drink."
Uh-huh.
But
Yeah.
you know, I kept wondering. Brother Kwame is a good example. He's a middle-aged man. Of course he's had a few beers in his life, but he always said something like, "I will wait till I can enjoy it." And I'm thinking to myself, we're on the road, and the last 3 cars I saw were going this way.
Yeah.
Nobody behind us.
I know.
If a mile, so you could get about a bend. But no. Very responsible.
Yeah.
So that's what's happening at this point. We're on our way to Chito.
For sure.
We'll be there shortly.
All the people, though, that basically met in Ghana, from your Caporistas to Harte, folks at the Acacia Lodge, Stephen, Leonard Kennedy, a host of folks. Richard, okay. Santewa, and of course Susan Amegashie.
Yes, sure, actually.
Susan's place. Yes, just...
Robert Brew.
Oh, yes.
Fast Eddie, Edwin 040 Bar. Reverend.
Yes.
Reverend, I beg your pardon.
Yes.
Reverend.
Edwin
040 Bar.
And his wonderful family. Yes, Atu, yes.
Atu. The whole Kote clan. Osu.
Yes. Beautiful, beautiful. Hopefully again one day.
Well, let's see what happens. The world is what it is.
This is true. Anyway, the Snake Doctor can be purchased at Barnes & Noble, Arthur House, Amazon. Your website is www.odiehawkins.com, and you are on the author's page on Amazon as well.
Oh, is that right?
Yes, you are. And I've truly enjoyed this moment in time with you.
It is a moment in time.
Yes. If you like this video and our YouTube channel, please subscribe or hit the like button below. And
one last word.
Yes, please.
As the snake would say, eat me.
A day.
I don't know if snakes eat tamales, but I do.
Okay. Off to get our tamales.